On today's episode of the Ango Show, we're going to be talking about all possible major surprises for the Royal Rumble. There's a list of names who are in town. We're going to talk about it. Plus, Stephanie McMahon was on the Pat McAfee show. What is happening with her in the WWE? Plus, she's launching a new show. We're going to talk about that, plus a major surprise. It's all coming up right here on TAS. Welcome back, everybody, to the Ango Show. We're going to kick things off, of course, with Stephanie McMahon. She was on the Pat McAfee show, and what was very interesting about her being on the Pat McAfee show was the fact that she clarified that she is not part of the WWE. She is not an executive in the WWE. She also clarified that the WWE will always be a part of her. I don't believe Stephanie. I think at some point Stephanie will return. She's been very open and honest about the fact that she needed to take a break from pro wrestling and take a break from WWE. Obviously, there was a lot of stuff with Vince McMahon. She's the daughter of Vince McMahon. I do think Stephanie at some point will probably return to WWE as an executive. I think that's a very big possibility. But obviously, as of now, she is not. Now, obviously, she's going to have ties to the WWE forever. I think that is very clear. I think everybody kind of understands that. And what was really interesting is that she announced that there's going to be a new show coming to ESPN Plus, and it's called Stephanie's Places. And basically, each episode is her traveling the world with different WWE superstars, talking to them, learning about them, sharing stories and things like that, which I think is a very cool idea for a show. I absolutely love when there's content out there with interviews and you kind of take the, step back and peel the curtain a little bit. Stephanie being on the Pat McAfee show was a really cool thing. They showed a little bit of a preview with her on the yacht with the bloodline, and it looked like she was on a helicopter with Charlotte Flair as well. So there's just a lot of really cool stuff that comes from that. Stephanie is, It's interesting. The whole Stephanie McMahon situation is interesting because she took a step from WWE, then she came in back as the, co-CEO, and then obviously Vince came back and she left the company. I always wondered what it would be like if Stephanie does come back. Stephanie is somebody who is very well liked behind the scenes. A lot of talent have spoken very, very positively about their experiences with Stephanie. So the fact that she's not in the WWE in some capacity is interesting. A lot of women have come out and said that she advocated for the women very often, and she had a very good relationship with the women, which is obviously very important to have that bridge, for the women's roster as well. So obviously, with Stephanie having the show, it's cool, but I do want to see her return to WWE as an executive. Again, when there's that much positivity surrounding her backstage, that's important. You want your backstage environment to be good. And then obviously, Stephanie has become a very big business mogul outside of the WWE. So if there's a way for her to balance it all, that would be very, very cool to see. That brings us to our next topic, Royal Rumble. So this is huge. There's a lot of talk and a lot of potential spoilers here. So obviously we gotta talk about it. First and foremost, we gotta talk about the list of talent who have been brought in to the Royal Rumble. This includes certain talent who are not being brought in to the Royal Rumble. So one name that you guys could probably cross off the list is Nick Nemeth, aka Dolph Ziggler. He's no longer the world champion, but it doesn't sound like he'll be utilized at all for this Royal Rumble event. Now, with that being said, there are some expected surprises, so I'm going to list those here. According to PWInsider.com, Lash legend Jada Parker, Roxanne Perez, and Stephanie Vaquer have all been brought into town for the event. Now, we obviously don't know if they will be 100% utilized in the Royal Rumble, but it is important that we at least acknowledge the fact that they are being brought in. And by the way, there is absolutely more. So we got to get through the list. Charlotte Flair, we know, is probably more than likely going to be back in the Royal Rumble as well, because she obviously announced it. But what's really interesting is there's also some championship plans for her. This is according to WrestleVote. So we'll see what happens. Obviously, I don't know if that means Charlotte will in fact win the Royal Rumble, but it is a good possibility that she will. She'll obviously be there. And here's the thing: when it comes to Charlotte being in the Royal Rumble, we obviously know she's going to be there. But if she wins the Royal Rumble and faces Tiffany Stratton, could that be an issue? Could that be a problem? Could that be something that potentially could that be something that potentially rubs people the wrong way because Tiffany Stratton's a newer star? Obviously we gotta point that out. And then of course you have to remember with the Women's Royal Rumble, it is expected that Jordynne Grace will be there, even though she's coming out with a tweet trying to swerve people. A lot of people believe that she'll be there. Becky Lynch is a name that has been brought into town. Obviously, we haven't seen her on TV in a while, but we know she re-signed with the company. It has not been confirmed that she is, in fact, going to be in the Women's Royal Rumble match. However, she is under contract. It's very highly likely that she will be in the match. And of course, WWE is just bringing a lot of people to town. So, you know, if we know that Nick Nemeth won't be there, but then we know that RVD is being brought in, more than likely RVD could be there for photo ops or some stuff, but you know, maybe they'll be in attendance on the crowd shots, or they will likely be a surprise, right? Now, the biggest surprise of them all is the name that we're about to talk about, and there's a major tease, and this is getting people really excited. And that brings us to our last final major surprise, which is AJ Lee. There is a lot of talk and a lot of rumors that AJ Lee could be returning to the WWE. Now, mind you, about 8 months ago, 6, 7, 8 months ago, I made a video talking about WWE potentially having a major match for Roxanne Perez at WrestleMania, and that would be AJ Lee. Obviously, we haven't seen anything come to fruition just yet on WWE television. However, Jackie Redmond uploaded a video to social media, and she's obviously talking to CM Punk about a major surprise, and he responds by saying, there is a big one, but I'm not going to say because I'm going to get in trouble. So now you have to wonder if CM Punk is just feeding into the internet and the buzz, but he is teasing AJ Lee returning to the company, which would make sense, right? AJ Lee coming to the company would be a very big deal. And obviously if AJ Lee were to have a massive feud with Roxanne Perez, that would just be huge. Roxanne, Cora Jade, obviously longtime fans of AJ Lee, but look at the women's division in 2025. I mean, it's absolutely stacked. You bring in AJ Lee, this would be absolutely massive. And imagine a women's Royal Rumble where Jordynne Grace and Charlotte returns and Becky, and then you have AJ Lee to top it all off. Just absolutely incredible stuff. And this is the kind of stuff that WWE is good at, right? Like WWE knows how to put on some major surprises. So the fact that WWE could potentially be having this lined up in the pipeline is absolutely amazing. For me personally, light it up, right? That song hits. I mean, the place is going to go bonkers. And if they pull off the AJ Lee return, it's going to go viral. I mean, everybody's going to be talking about it, but this is what happens when you've gone so far and so long away from the WWE brand that, you know, when you come back, it's going to be a big moment. And that's obviously a huge thing. This makes me more excited for the Royal Rumble pay-per-view. I'm super excited to see what happens. Obviously, I want to know what you guys think in the comment section down below. And don't forget, Royal Rumble predictions live Friday, January 31st, 12 p.m. Eastern on the Ango Show.